bags and short B, like the oppers, I feel like are going to be huge on this map. We didn't really get to see a whole lot of opping out of Farlig on T side in particular in the first map due to economy. He'll be starting out on the CT side this time around, so I think that's going to be a big head-to-head Mantu versus Farlig.
Well, we're going to have a big head-to-head in Connector. Many bodies in there, and it's OG that are holding their nerve and holding their ground. Farlig and Sunny both getting a couple between the two of them, and OG have now been forced back. Mantu and Nico remain. And they are completely opposite sides of the map as well. They've got short pipe getting pushed in, and then Mantu's making moves into Connector.
Yeah, and the bomb is unfortunately down in a very rough position for OG to recover, but Mantu on this backstab from the upper stairs finds his man. Farlig gets quick to trade back. Nico tries to swing off of it. Now he's being pinched. He gets his man, though, turns around and almost pulled off something ludicrous. He finally gets silenced, but he certainly gave it a good run. FPX, though, thanks to their early round domination in Connector, will get the first round. They will lock the pistol, which is so important considering they're already a map down in the series.
300 damage for Farlig, all in Connector, all beautiful headshots. And now OG, they have to try and come back with pretty much nothing. They didn't get a bomb plant. There's no reason for them to force in. They know early on that would put them in a very awkward position. And FPX off to a cracking start. And very important for them too as well after conceding that first map. And, you know, taking a lot of energy and a lot of focus and still conceding the map's going to be brutal. It's going to be carnage. It's going to be mayhem. You're expecting to see this with effectively full-on Glocks. And the one P250 they had has at least taken a skull, but FPX still navigate their way to a 2-0.
Yeah, waterfall upstream, I guess you could say there. As it will be FPX clearing that one out rather rapidly as anticipated. OG, though, now will be on kind of a full buy. They won't have the AWP for Mantu, but they will have full utility, full AKs across the board, full armor. Going against a team that is pretty upgraded. I mean, they do have the one MP9 on Zen, but other than that, they are going to have full rifles in their own right, though a couple are going to be FAMAS. We see the fire here slowing down the initial take into the playground from OG, but they will get past it, though, at a huge cost. Nico just had a warhead dropped on him. Down half HP.
The tactical nuke has landed and does get picked off. Good flash, though, with the peek. There's another player here. It's going to be Sunny with the AUG, and he's done his job. Issa elsewhere. Silencing Zen. So the top fragger for Nuke is momentarily on the sidelines, and OG trying to pick up the pace. After their first rifle round has come to fruition, on 3. A low Sunny to deal with, and Madden gets sprayed through the smoke. Lucky to survive.
Yeah, that would have been huge for OG to get that pick. Luckily, Mantu's still able to get through pipe position and get control of this site, and he will be able to get the plant, so it will come down to a retake from FPX, and they are very low on 2 of their players.
Very low post plant comes in, slight gap in the smoke will yield an opportunity for Mantu to get one. He wants to try and double up. This could be the end of the round if he can get that secondary frag, but here comes Farlig through heaven with the AUG. And the spray's on point, but they still don't know where Issa and Velda are exactly. It would stand to reason that one would be short, one would be monster. And Farlig with the insta-headshot, looking for more, doesn't get it. Issa's trying to play time. Both players are very low. Next bullet may very well finish this round, and it comes from Madden. And with a kit in his hands, he's more than enough time for FPX pick up 3.
Yeah, that was kind of a weird round because it looked like FPX were dominant to start. They got the early damage onto Nico at Playground. They also got the opening pick on B side. It seemed like they were in firm control of the round, but OG able to battle their way back a little bit. Mantu able to come through. Monster actually get bombed down on site, forced a 3-on-3 against a weakened FPX who had 2 players very low on health, but FPX able to battle through, make the retake happen. Came down to a 1v1 in the end, so as close as it gets, but FPX rise to the occasion. They're up 3-0. They have OG on a Tech 9 buy-up to give themselves a chance to do a little bit of something in this round, but obviously wait for the full buy next round. Again, we see FPX getting aggressive here on the CT side and trying to take some forward positioning early.
Aggression, the name of the game. Could very well be one that yields another round. Madden playing with his food too much. And Issa will punish him. That's a weapon that can trade hands. That's an AK.
Absolutely. And he could even get that to a player that has full head armor and still full health. He's the only person who got hit in the round. Indeed, that AK will find the hands of Valda. I can't think why they would give it to him, Vince. A little bit shocking. Valda will have that AK. As it looks like they're looking to get some short B control here through the way of Connector. Maybe try to set up for the B split. Sticko does have an awkward angle that they're going to have to contest. But if anyone was up to it, it would be Valdo, but that smoke may block him. Indeed, he will just have to kind of settle back for now. Still plenty of time, and they are even reconsidering taking some mid control. They want to keep the defense guessing. They're doing a good job of it so far.
Very true. They're trying to pivot them into multiple positions and outmaneuver them, but Stico through the smoke, perforating it, takes down Valda, and that's definitely going to help their account a great deal. Not only is it the kill on Valda, it's the weapon that's dropped with him.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if they're going to be able to reclaim it either. It's kind of the big problem. You know, if they could recycle it forward, they'd still have a 4-on-4 and a fighting chance with that AK, but without it, they are certainly far less threatening as they are trying to put the smokes down over towards A side and still try to get in here and do something. Farlig at bank, just trying to hold the angle and wait for his team to rotate.
8 seconds, putting in a move on, flashes are good, and the follow-up damage is there as well. 4 seconds to play with, they could maybe get this plant down, and Farlig tries to wall back through the box. 2-on-3, but now the wraparound from Stico. He's not got kills, but information gathered, and he softened up both targets. But Alexi has the M4, close does tag Farlig. But Farlig with double USP frags. Okay then, doing it in style, and FPX get 4.
Yeah, good patience there from Farlig in bank, knowing that there was a flank coming through middle. Good job of them initially to disrupt that initial attempt at a bomb plant, so they almost did win off clock there, but were able to get the plant. And with that being a Tech 9 buy, they didn't invest too much. They get a plant. They have plenty of money coming to this round. They could get an AWP for man too, so they did kind of win the small battle of getting that plant. Though it certainly could have gotten way more interesting when they got the quick 5-on-4 and got an AK into Valda's hands with Stico able to get a big kill there to kind of silence that option. But now here comes the first real test, a real full buy for both teams.
Absolutely. The fact that FPX won the last round that's all well and good, but OG weren't expecting to get too much out of that. So it softens up Madden and Zen in terms of finances. There's definitely a way back in. OG looking rough at 0-4, but I don't think that paints the full picture as to how this half has gone thus far. They can quickly turn their fortunes around. A bit more aggression as well from FPX, pushing up on balloons, but also Sunny is up on long side. Madden gets the first kill, and Farlig smokes himself into a peak.
That is a great opening here. And again, FPX are taking away a lot of space from OG by having this forward position now over towards that party area and playground. And they have the 5-on-4. This allows them to even more heavily rotate players over to be confident that they are going to have Sunny being kind of that man that can be that early alert system if they need to retreat back. And so they're able to put up a very stout defense on this B site, which certainly OG are looking to test right now. It's the only control that they have. The only presence on the map to them is this B side. They do have the utility to smoke and flash their way in, but it's all going to come down to whether or not they can push Stico out of position at barrels with the Molotov and whether they're able to find the trading efficiency they need to unlock this site.
Yeah, with the trifecta of players that are waiting for them, you'd fancy FPX, but they've lost the first. And Farlig, that's the up that goes with him. Good flashbang. Valda was fully flashed and gets taken down by the hands of Madden. 25 seconds, fast rotation as well. Coming to the forefront. It's looking grim for OG. They may be able to get this plant down, but it's at cost to another couple of players. Now it's all down to Issa, and Issa will fall to Zen. 5-0. And a complete turn of events. Valda from a hero to 0. He's got no kills so far, and he was the player to watch out for on Nuke.
Yeah, no one's really gotten going, if we're being 100% honest here from the OG side of things. I think they only have like 12 kills total on their entire team. I mean, Farlig almost has that covered by himself with 10, so it's definitely a slow start here from OG. As it will be a tactical timeout, and for good reason. I mean, they've only still truly had one real full buy to launch at FPX. This will be their second attempt at a full buy coming up now, but they need to make it work. And I feel like that they're getting denied so much map control early is a real big problem. Like, they need to be able to force FPX to respect some of these initial choke points a little bit more by forcing them back. You know, don't let them just be able to post up aggressive at party and playground, be able to stay there for the entire round. It just allows them so much flexibility on their rotations and, you know, so much ability to not have to worry about playing for retake or being stretched, and they can have a stout defense in place the whole time. So at that point, it forces you to have to just brute force your way through a site with, you know, a good set piece and good trading efficiency, and you don't have a fallback plan. So hopefully they can find a way to contend and keep their options open rather than being kind of funneled one direction. That's been kind of the theme so far this game.
This is where they break out of those shackles that you were alluding to there, Dust. And Farlig, who started so well, he was 2-7, I think, on Nuke at one stage. The fact that he's 10-2, showing again why, as you highlighted, he's one of those upcoming players in Denmark, definitely one of the better AWPers in that region, which is saying a great deal because they're definitely not spoilt for choice. So the fact he's starting well definitely puts a wrench in the works for OG. Now, this is a much more passive round as well from OG. They are taking some control over the likes of Playground and trying to get a bit of middle control, but by and large, they haven't pushed out of B, and that's allowing Stico to move in himself.
Yeah, that's big. Like, this time they're not going aggressive at Playground side. They're going aggressive at short B side. And as you said, Stico able to get a good corner. They had Farlig posted up at the flower pot at long. But otherwise, you know, at least giving that initial space away. And now the Flashes are going to keep pushing Farlig off. He's going to try to take a little bit of a jump peek for a little bit of information. He can't, you know, get too risky, though. Otherwise, he'd just give a free pick away. And indeed, he does flash his way out. And now takes a new angle over towards the restroom. So far, a little bit of a stalemate here, but at least OG are starting to get some control of bathrooms. They're starting to get some presence up middle. And they haven't really allowed FPX any intel to start rotating this side.
Farlig again strikes. 33 seconds. They're pushing up long. That's where the bulk of the aggression will be coming in from. And Farlig no-scopes Felder. He did get a quick-fire headshot onto Madden, which makes A-side a little bit easier to take. But they still need to deal with the AWPer. And Nico does it in style. Double smokes down onto Dumpster and Bank that allows them the safe passage of a plant for Bank side. They need to make sure they don't get sprayed through the smoke. It's Zen that dies through the smoke, though, to the hands of Mantu. And our 2 of the 3 remaining Ts are positioned on Bank, with the 3rd being Mantu up on long. But Stico, he snuck his way towards this site. He is looking for just a pixel to execute off, to give his team a chance to pick up a 6th in a round. Sonny goes in onto Alexi. This may put them into an awkward position, but he's been spotted. The bomb planted for Bank is going to make this so much more difficult, but Sonny comes back in. The bomb's not really planted for Mantu, but at least he can go for that wide swing, and in doing so, he does give his side up, but Sonny can't punish him. The Glock comes out, and even though Sonny picks up the frag, I'm not sure there's enough time. It's going to be exceptionally close. Does he just about have it? No! A millisecond away, and if he finished off the kill the first time around, he would have had time for the defuse.
Oh man, that round got real scrappy real quick at the end. I thought OG were doing some good things early in that round, being heavily focused up long, you know, being able to avoid the flank from Stico by making sure that they planted for Bank and getting Bank control by spamming the smoke and actually getting access to it. It looked like they had a firm grasp on things, but FPX were really starting to fight it back, and it came down to a very dicey 1v1. Which ultimately came down to the clock rather than frags to decide things. So OG got away with one a little bit there, I feel like, as they almost let that round slip through their fingers despite a good execute. Now we're seeing Farlig reposition the op, this time over towards Monster side. And oh, just misses a chance to kill Nico there. Nico actually finds an entry instead.
Yeah, that would have been the complete opposite way around. Nico got the kill as a result of not being finished off by Farlig, so that would have been an excellent start for FPX. Madden again getting aggressive, and Nico's been caught. Not for the first time that FPX have gone for that play. So surely that's something OG are watching out for. Madden just continues to press forward. Now he's going to decide to back away, realizing that Connector is maybe more of an issue.
So I think Nico got tagged off screen, and we just thought it was Farlig's op that got the tag, because Nico died over towards Playground, so I got kind of confused there for a second. Either way, Nico's off the board. 4-on-4 situation. The rest of OG looking to commit towards B, but the CT positioning here, flanking through blue, is going to be a problem. Zin has found his man.
Flashes are good, but Farlig's aim is up to the task. And with his frag, it alleviates the pressure for Madden to go ahead and get the headshot and a secondary one behind it. And that adds to the first, which is a 3K in total. OG, after winning, have instantly been silenced.
Yeah, it's just FPX are fairly consistently getting so much space on the map by some of these aggressive plays they're making, particularly towards that long A side, towards the Playground. They have so often been able to either get an opening pick or really just slow OG down. The one time that OG were able to actually play out a default, they did win. But FPX, again, time and time again, has just not been allowing them a lot of space. And now we see OG back onto a deco, except for Mantu, who will be on the 250. So a great chance for FPX to kind of continue their dominance right now. They're looking like they're about to go up 7-1. This is a much different look than Nuke.
Complete role reversal, and it's all been helmed by Farlig's AWP. He has been on point, very rarely missing, and Sonny has been helping him out as well with 10 kills. That's no small feat that he's pulled off. 1 minute 15 on the clock, and OG going to be a bit more one-dimensional, all clumped together, pushing up through bathrooms. It is pistols, so understandable that they want to just try and swarm the site and overwhelm these CTs. They've done just that to dead. Farlick, though, of course, connects his shot, his only opportunity so far, and his teammates are falling around him. He's still alive. He needs to pull another huge round out the bag. Otherwise, OG may be picking up 2. They've lost Nico, though, and Stiko's going in for more. Tagged down to 11, but Valda's pretty low on top of that. He does have an M4 by his side, but now he's last man standing. Has to whip the deagle out, missing the first couple of shots and doesn't get it done. Farlick, again, the hero of FPX, but Valda, he'll feel like he should have had that round.
Oh, he got a great chunk of damage off with that deagle. I thought he was just going to do it on a round that OG really had no business winning, considering their resources. They did almost pull a rabbit out the hat. They won the small battle getting the bomb plant, though. They have a full comfortable buy here, but man, they almost had so much more. And honestly, these last couple of rounds have had a few go really, down to the wire, down the really scrappy, sloppy 1v1s. And so we'll have to see if that continues to play out. I mean, either way, FPX are fine. They've been coming out on top, but I mean, you can see it now. They only have very little money left despite being up 7-1, so you can tell just how close some of these rounds have really been, considering you would expect a team that's up that much to have plenty of cash in the bank.
Yeah, that's a good point. Still, though, OG need to capitalize on that. If there's a CP here and it's a pretty straightforward round, you can pretty much nullify everything you just said, but it's that man, it's the talisman. He's been slain by Issa, and with him, connector control will fall silent.
Yeah, finally, OG getting some early space and an early opening pick. That has been a rarity for them here on Overpass. Sunny, though, catching them a bit off guard with his angle inside the bathrooms. Now Maiden coming up as well on the smoke. Does he see Nico's feet? He can, but he doesn't, but he still finds it anyway. A big kill to slow down OG.
On 5 HP, and instead of pulling back on low HP, he stands his ground, and that is such a Madden play. That is what makes or breaks this guy, and often what makes or breaks FPX. 2 kills, had no right to get the second one, but still puts his team in a 2-on-4. And even though it was a rough start with Farlick being fragged, this would build their economy. This would mitigate some of the problems we're talking about. Excellent flash from Stiko alongside Madden. Now Alexi can get one, but now his position is known, and he's not even sure if Connect is about to get pushed into. Now he has the bomb, but doesn't really have the time to facilitate a full-on rotation back towards the B side, or the A side, pardon me. So he will have to hit B, and in doing so, he'll be out in the open. Man-2 on the barrels. Or it's Madden actually on the barrels. And so the second that Alexi moves up, you expect his head to be removed. Whether it be from water, whether it be from barrels, the end result will be the same. And it's Madden that picks up a 3K. I cannot believe he survived that round.
Yeah, that is pretty wild. It seemed like he was on borrowed time after that initial skirmish, but was able to pull on through and have massive impact throughout the rest of the round, keeping this big lead from FPX just flowing. It's like they just can do no wrong in this half. Absolutely dominating the server. We've seen little signs of life out of OG. Again, they've had a couple of rounds come down to 1v1s. They had that one victory under their belts. This very easily, I feel like, could have been 6-3 or something along those lines. But instead, it's FPX just continuing to cruise perhaps a double digits here very soon. And again, this is exactly what the doctor ordered for them, considering that it is a playoff spot on the line, elimination looming for the other side. And a third map was FPX's only hope at staying in contention after dropping Nuke in a very close fashion after a brilliant comeback effort that just missed the mark. And here they stand on Overpass, just not really giving OG any looks, if we're honest.
Yeah, they've had a couple glances and a couple of close rounds, but ultimately, when it comes down to it, FPX have just been on point. Their aim has just been that little bit snappier, and we saw that towards the end of Nuke, where it felt like OG were cooling down. But FPX just didn't leave themselves enough wiggle room to really fully recover. So obviously, kicking off in this kind of form mounts that pressure up. OG, 3 players in connector, make it 4 actually. Valda's just behind them, and this leaves Issa to watch out for another one of those playground pushes. So they're going to be trying to get round up towards middle.
Yep.
No one is actually there. FPX are playing this one more passively.
Yeah, with them having a MAC-10, they're trying to get up close and personal and using this pop flash to come out connector and get into bathrooms quickly to try to maximize its utility. They only have basic utility left to actually execute the side, so they have to commit to it. That's what they're looking for here over on A side, but Farlig and company are up to the task and they are defending perfectly.
Once again, doing no wrong. Issa, though, is the one component on long that's now shown himself. It is a 2-on-3. HP favoring FPX. Manpower favoring FPX. And more so now that Stico's found himself another one. And Sunny on the spray will deal with Issa pushing. This is getting into disastrous territory now for OG.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it was a decent idea from OG, considering they had a MAC-10 and limited utility to try to just kind of pop flash away into middle, hope to get a fight. But with, you know, FPX playing so passive on site, they were forced just to go for the full commitment in a 5-on-5, and they didn't really have the luxury of being able to cover all angles with smokes and Molotovs and flashes. They had to leave a couple of gaps, and around those holes is where FPX were able to thrive. That is going to put them at a 9th round. And OG once more on a very low buy. And times are getting real tough on OG. Luckily, they have the one map safety net having secured nuke, but they have just not really shown much here on Overpass. And again, we talked about how both these teams are on a 3-map losing streak on Overpass. Both teams are kind of 50-50 as far as overall win rate goes over the last 6 months. So it was really hard to kind of put your thumb on where it was headed, but now we kind of just get to see it for ourselves. And once again, Sunny is deep over on A side.
Did he just catch a glimpse of the player in connector? I'm not sure. Maybe
yeah, hard
he
to
saw
say.
the barrel of the gun around the corner, but regardless, it doesn't seem to have deterred him. He's still pushing around the back, and this allows FPX to stack more players over on B and feel very comfortable in doing so. So OG, they're about to walk into what we'd have to feel will be a lot of pain and misery, and only on pistols. Out they come, spilling onto the site. The lineup for Zen, so much damage, and they're running over Molotovs. They're running into a barrage of bullets. It's every bit the massacre that we expected. I'm even surprised they got 1 kill. FPX already with 10.
Yeah, this is rough, Vince. I'm gonna have to say it. This is. I feel like I'm witnessing a crime that I need to report to the proper authorities. They are getting absolutely battered. And not in the way that gets dunked into a fryer for your pleasure. It is the physical mauling kind of battered.
Yeah, someone needs to throw that towel in, I think, pretty soon for OG. But, I mean, I suppose they can take a leaf out of FPX's book and say they nearly came back against us on Nuke. It's always possible. Keep your head firmly in the game, and maybe, just maybe, you can bring it back. But it would have to start here. I feel like at least 4 rounds in this first half. So
yeah, this map is CT-sided, but not to this extent.
Yes,
you got to give yourself a fighting chance. Like I said, if you can get to like 4 or 5 rounds and win pistol and get your momentum flowing on the CT side, then sure. I mean, they have the players that are certainly very capable of it. I feel like Valor's been one of the better CT side players of Overpass for many years. Mantu, obviously, with the op, could indeed thrive once we transition side. So there is still some hope for them, but FPX have been, again, just doing so well.
A far cry from the first half of Nuke. And FPX, just perfect timing on the grenades as well. Even though Alexi wanted to try and push out, there's just a smoke there in his eyes instantly. That's going to waste so much time, and still so many players with utility on the side of Phoenix. They've got an incendiary, they've got a smoke, they're just tossing it down now, and an aggressive peek from Sunny just to clear out his angles.
Yeah, it's like one of the few times that FX don't have like a good forward position to play from. They're actually having to just kind of sit back and play defense, but they've been able to hold on to their utility, so they're able to keep stalling OG out with the incendiaries, and they're running out of time now on the OG side, and they're starting to second-guess themselves a little bit here, as it looks like they might even transition back over to A. Now, Nico has been perched at party this whole time, so he knows that no one is aggressive, but you're not leaving yourself a lot of time here. They don't have any utility. They have 1 smoke fence. If one thing goes wrong, they're ruined.
And Farlig is here, and he's waiting. Chomps down onto Alexi, and he's still hungry. He's not been satiated fully. 3 kills to Farlig. And the round falls apart. 20 seconds on that rotation, and it just wasn't ever really looking likely, especially running into an informed Farlig with already 21 frags.
Yeah, with that amount of time left, and the fact that Nico was only at party, it's not like he was like full bathrooms control or like deep in A site and was calling for, oh, it's open, let's go. And on top of that, again, they only had 1 smoke left when they decided to go over to A. That means you can only block 1 of garbage or bank, not both, which means someone gets to hold an angle. And then again, with only 20 seconds left on the clock, and you're just making a transition to A, if one little thing goes wrong, you slip on one banana peel, the round's done. You're not going to have time to recover from the chaos and still get that bomb down. And I just feel like OG are looking a little bit lost on this T side at this point. It just feels like they're second guessing themselves. They struggled to commit. They've lost a couple of rounds based on the clock now. And yeah, it just seems like they're showing zero signs of life. There were a couple of rounds kind of early on that were close that came down to 1v1, 2v2 type situations, but it feels like it's been a lot more dominant in recent times. It feels like the bulk of these, yeah, I mean, you look at the last 4 rounds in a row, FPX have survived with at least 3 players. So they definitely, you know, started slamming on the gas pedal here towards the end of this first half.
The aggression. And Stico with a triple spray and a 4 through the smoke. And they did force into this round. OG came out with weapons, and it's the same result. It's just done faster. It's just finished off quickly, put them out of their misery.
I don't have much to say, Vince. I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, when that's happening, the last bullet catches Mantu. Good grief, man. This is a slaughter.
Yeah, no, do you remember, feels like it was only a couple of moments ago for me, but we were just saying that, oh, FPX's economy is like pretty grim, and OG, yes, it's 7-1, but they've got every chance of coming, well, since then, no. They've been completely destroyed.
Yeah, that's now 5 rounds in a row. They've won with 3 or more players still alive. So, I mean, they've been able to turn that ship around quite some time ago. Now, we finally have an opening pick on the A side of the map here from Nico. We've been testing the waters there a couple of times, and it's actually catches Stico on the aggression at short B. So hold the phone. All of a sudden, OG has something going their way.
Finally something to get excited about, but Zen is quickly going to shut that one down. Looking to douse out the flames of a potential comeback of OG. Still not done. They're not across the finish line of round 14. Farlig is in the right position again. He is just outmaneuvering OG at every given turn, and Madden is already around the back of them. Down through Monster. Mantu takes the head off, but now Mantu can get himself on the receiving end of a battering. He did tag Madden, though, so Madden's down to 27, and Mantu may have done enough just to soften up Madden to allow Velda to have that impact to potentially take the second round. But the bomb, Velda doesn't have the bomb.
This timing is unreal. The fact that Man's been able to slip back over towards Graffiti. Oh. It's actually crazy how labored that victory was, considering how strong of an opening OG got. They got a quick 5-on-3, and thanks to the work of Zen and Farlig, they almost were able to reel it back in on the FPX side of things. You see Zen's couple of kills there. Farlig had a couple also. But finally, OG gets something, but you have to wonder if it's a bit too late, Vince. I mean, again, like, you have to give yourselves a fighting chance, even with the CT side being the favorite side of this map. And we've seen plenty of teams be able to roll out double-digit halves on the defense of Overpass, but you have to have something to work with, and maybe 3 will be enough. We'll have to see. They need to get that 3rd, though. That's for certain. No. That's... Yeah, it's 2 rounds in a row. Nico's been able to get the opening pick at A and give his team some options, and now it looks like they're going to be able to get a favorable situation here at B. They now have a 3-on-1. Probably trying to fight back, but I don't know if he can do it, Vince. He's got such low health.
Yeah, 18 55 seconds, more than enough time for OG to get good post-plant positions before the bomb fully gets planted down. Nico and Mantu up against Farlig. Eagle in hand, maybe anticipating a push, but there's really no reason for OG to go for this one. They have the advantage in terms of their positioning. Farlig comes out. This would be the... Watch this, but he can't. 12-3 will be the halftime score. A big turnaround from the first map. Stick around. We'll see if FPX can take us to Inferno.
Embrace your destiny, slay your enemy, raise a legacy. No more apologies, trust your abilities, gather the energies. Pull yourself back together, been staying off track forever. Child of the nation, go seek redemption, time for salvation. Today is meant to be day of victory, time for history. Rebirth's a tendency, fight the entropy, channel your rivalry. You're praying for fortune to come, you're hearing the sound of the drums. It's too late to backtrack, go pack your bag now, keep your feet on the road and stand up. You've got what it takes to fight back. Don't stop until you black out, 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 out. Stand up, up, you've got what it takes to fight back, back. Don't stop until you black out, out. Give all you got and show them how to make a miracle. Stand up, up, you've got what it takes to fight back, back. Don't stop until you black out, out. Give all you got and show them how to make a miracle. Go save your team, be a hero. Take home the cup, be a star. They waiting for you, take aim, shoot your arrow. It's your time to shine, show them who you are. Stronger, gotta go faster, gotta get better, gotta work harder. It's fight or flight now, get up now. Go wake the moon, go for the goal, lead up the stadium, you know how it's done. Stand up, up, got what it takes to fight back, back. Don't stop until you back out, out. Give all you got and show them how to make a miracle. Stand up, got what it takes to fight back.
We were so antsy to get back into this game and get it finished off that we brought it back earlier for you. Don't have to worry and wait around for the full break. We're back into the saddle. Issa already tagged down to 39, and OG, well, quite the turn of events. They are getting battered right now, 12-3. Maybe they can manage to pull a bit of a comeback off, and if they're going to do so, it has to start with a pistol, and it's Alexis leading by example. It's 3 kills. He goes down, though. Farlig and Madden both get frags, but now Nico from the back will strike, and OG, they at least get the second pistol, Dust. This could make things interesting.
Indeed, that is the first box checked on the very long list of things that OG must accomplish to keep the 2-0 dream a reality. And certainly a hot start to the round there from Alexa B.
316 damage. Giving them a real chance to try and build this one back up again. But the thing is, when you're at this kind of a deficit, Dust, like you've got to get these rounds done as cleanly as possible. You have to build that economy for the long haul. Not so, you know, you lose one round and suddenly you're down to like an MP9 or maybe even a pistol, lack of grenades. They've got to be so concise about this.
Certainly need to make sure that they play flawlessly. Can afford really no mistakes on the CT side to try to bring it back in regulation. Nico get an early spot here, and Mantu playing the crossfire will find a couple, and a team kill somehow came into play there for FPX. That's unfortunate. And so it may be a flawless round here for OG. Certainly seems the case, as close to a kill was in with the P250, but Issa not allowing it to pass, holds on to 7 HP, and so again, a perfect round. They're able to roll this over into a somewhat bonus, so they do have 2 FAMASas, so it's really just the MP9 that's being kept over as far as SMGs go. But first full buy from FPX, though it is going to be labored, right? They're going to have limited utility, no AWP. So again, OG needs this one. Would force FPX back onto a save, and it would start grinding away at the big lead that FPX built up.
Do have 4 smokes, which have one of them's already been utilized. In terms of firepower, they are ahead with their AKs all been picked up. So Alexi will be taking the initiative with his MP9. He's getting up close. He knows there could be a player in amongst that smoke or potentially in the playground, so he will be treading very lightly. And that does allow Zen the luxury of pulling back and just playing a little bit safer. But if he can hold in this position with Nico, it lets them stack 3 players B. They know it can't be A side.
Exactly. You know, they did a great job with those flashes layered to allow Alexa B to get in this position, but now they're starting to reclaim, and now he has to get away, and the MP9 gonna be tough to use at this distance, but he does find Zen. Nico's gone down. He's stranded. He's trying to scramble out of there, but Farlig not going to allow that to come to pass, and now all of a sudden that aggression has backfired. FPX have a 4-on-3. They're starting to get some great control over towards the A side of the map. They're going to force OG to be very stretched thin on their defense. And with Valda being the solo defender here with low HP, this could be a real problem, as it seems like FPX are wasting no time coming up long A.
Oh, but that's going to take some of the focus away from Valda's position.
Yeah. I'm not surprised they didn't wait to gather up together. This could be a problem now.
Does that molly extend fully enough to deal with Valda? I don't think it does. I think he can actually just stay on the bank. I think he can just get the easy kill, and the smoke's actually made this a one-way. It's gone horribly wrong. FPX had every opportunity to just instantly bounce back into this half, and instead Sonny on 12 HP has to just pull the plug. He knows he's a dead man if he presses forward, and at least it gives him an AK to play with, if he can hold on to his life. And I think they'll let him escape, but I thought that round was going the way of FPX.
Yeah, when they traded their way to a 4-on-3 based on the way that they're able to exchange their way into Fountain late, to see them let that slip is so odd. I don't get why they had such bad spacing up long A to just kind of send one player up first at A. You give a free 1v1, and you give away your advantage. Now you're back into a 3-on-3. And I do feel for them a bit on that Molotov not fully extending. Like, that is just kind of unfortunate. You can't really account for that, which allowed Valda obviously to have massive impact going forward. So I won't harp on that mistake too much, but I do feel like the spacing was way off there. When you have a 4-on-3, you should be together, should be looking to trade. You know you got the numbers to do it, and so for them to give up a player like that was just really odd.
And the repercussions are felt into this round. Sonny with a saved AK, of course, but it's Deagles alongside him. Madden down to 1,300, 1,900 on Stico.
Right. Yeah, this is looking pretty grim for FPX, all things considered. We talked about this being a real possibility, though, if they were to lose, and they did. They do have the hero AK, I guess you could say, on Sonny. He does have the head armor, but they're going to have to trust fully in him to find an opening at this point. They do have the basic smokes at the very least for Dumpster and Bank, so, and one to maybe plant inside of. But it's all about whether or not they can get past Mantu. This is so odd of an angle for Nico to not have the op support behind him. I hope Mantu comes over to help him with the bait and switch, but I guess it won't be required. He'll just get the win.
Smoke. Oh, the timing. Farlig will not be missing that chance. Mantu now in the same position where Farlig was having so much success and so much leeway. Alexi B spotting that there is a gap in the smoke and makes the most of it. And now OG look to try and rummage together. Not even a retake. That hasn't been afforded the luxury across the FPX. Farlig does connect with the AK for a headshot, but that is all he will be getting out of round alongside the opener with the Deagle. And OG have bridged the gap to 5 rounds now.
Yeah, I mean, other than having Nico kind of stranded at long A, everything else pretty much went according to plan for OG. They handled that round pretty efficiently outside of that one death. And so now they're 5 away from tying this thing up, and they have superior economic advantage here. They're going to have Sonny on just a MAC-10 now. Full buy is in play, though, and Farlig's had a hell of a game at 27 kills, and he's finally got his op. And so that could certainly be a big momentum changer if he's able to get flowing on the offense with the sniper.
So many flashes just to afford a bit of safe passage towards the short. Did Stico, I don't think he saw him. I think Valda knows there's a very good possibility that someone's about to push through the short pipe. And Stico, who got flashed in from Farlig, it's done more harm than good, and Valda just pivots around and takes the head of Sonny clean off.
That is brutal. You would think Sonny had an opportunity to kind of punish Valda on the fall back there, but Valda able to snap around, and now he's coming alive here on Overpass, Vince. We talked about how he had a slow start. I think he was like 0-5 or something kind of towards the beginning of the first half after having a brilliant nuke game where he dropped over 30 and had fantastic ADR across the map, but now he is back. And again, he has often been one of the strongest, you know, Overpass CT players throughout CSGO history once he came on the board.
I think FPX are setting up to save already with 50 seconds left. This is
I mean,
really
no choice.
grim.
I mean, when you get blitzed that hard in short B, it's going to be pretty tough to recover, especially with their economy being so low. I mean, at least saving an AWP and an AK-47, they can have something to work with in the next round. But OG certainly will find an 8th, a very strong chance at a 9th. And all of a sudden, you have to kind of just start realizing that this game is not over with. This is not some foregone conclusion anymore for FPX. Map 3 is starting to become more and more gray as opposed to a guarantee. And I have to say, what worries me most, Vince, is it feels like FPX are just a little bit sloppy on some of their timings. And unless they can fix that, then I really do think OG will come on back.
Oh, Velda's definitely found that form again that we saw on Nuke, that's for sure. Maybe he's not firing on every single cylinder, but at least half of them. And is there an element of that's to be expected, though, as well for FPX us? We talked about this before. They've been going through a bit of a transitional phase. Like, are these the kind of things, that sloppiness that can sometimes creep its way into your gameplay?
Sure. But it feels like they were like on a positive trend lately with some of their most recent results at DreamHack Open and DreamHack Masters, a 2nd place in a top 4 finish between those 2 events. So it's looking good. I like this boost from Mantu, though. This is something you don't see all too often. It's so powerful as well if he doesn't get pushed off, but eventually time will force him to draw back.
It's a formation that does cost a lot of manpower. They have to play a player down in connector, otherwise you are very susceptible to getting instantly flanked, and the round is pretty much done if you get caught there. But I do like it. They've wasted a lot of time with that boost on the side of FPX. Like, they've realized no one's here. They've pulled back. They've already getting towards a minute left on the clock. And it's not like FPX have a ton of utility. They've got 3 smokes. That's great. But only 2 flashes and no Molotovs.
Right. Yeah, and they have, you know, a couple of players on Deagles and a Galil for Sticko. So it's not as if they have the greatest firepower. They also have great control of long A on the OG side of things, which is a real problem for FPX. Now, Sticko's putting some pressure on B. He's getting deep, and he's actually calling for the rotation back around here. The problem is there's maybe no smoke for heaven, and so the op of Mantu can maybe still catch them as they're trying to cross sight. Oh, never mind. They did actually smoke for heaven, but there's a gap in it, Vince.
Which is worse than there being no smoke.
Yes.
Because that baits them into feeling like they're safe, and Mantu just gets 2 kills from a result of that. And that's the sloppiness that you're talking about, Dust. Right there and then. That maybe cost them the round. It's still not quite over just yet. There's an AWP and Galil and a Deagle. They're trying to desperately get their hands back on the bomb, but it puts them in an awkward spot before 2 kills back-to-back. Madden and Farley both chip in, and now Madden in a 1-on-2 with 8 seconds to play with gets nullified by Mantu. And right then and there, that is exactly what you were touching on before, Dust.
Yeah, it's just the finer details are, you know, kind of being ignored in some of these rounds, and that's going to come back to haunt you, because right now OG are feeling it. They're confident, they're hitting their shots, and so if you give those little slip-ups, OG are certainly going to punish you for them. They have the talent to do so. And yeah, that's a couple of different missed pieces of utility that have really come back to allow multi-frags from OG and basically win them the round. So yeah, FPX just showing some signs of being disjointed. This time around, they're putting, you know, some really early focus on getting control of the playground area, which they will get, no problem. They're trying to go for their own boost here with Farlig, with the scouts.
They kind of gave up on it. Like, this isn't working. Let's just move on, boys. Let's move to long, and Nico is there waiting in bathroom. He is all alone. If they get a well-placed flashbang, this position could be dealt with. He's already turned his back. He sees the shadow. There's 1, and a second. The bomb's been dropped down. He's done his job. Even if he dies now, he's done more than enough for his teammates.
Indeed, he has. He drops the smoke down. Flash comes in. Zen trying to punish him. Does get the pick, sure, but it's still a 2v4 at the end of the day. Farlig, the only person with really health to spare, and with only a scout to put to use. It's looking quite grim, especially with the flank already coming in play from Valda through connector. They are basically funneled to finish at A with limited resources, and it's definitely looking like another round for OG at this point.
That would be 7 rounds in a row, most of which have looked pretty comfortable. Molotov well placed down on long, that keeps Farlig at arm's reach. Another one as well. They are in their head.
Forget 7 rounds in a row, Vince. FPX have yet to prove they can even win AT round. They have not gotten one this half.
Yep.
That makes the 7 in a row even worse.
quite a damning stat, isn't it? And a lot of those players that were eerily quiet in the first half have really come alive. Zen pushing through onto the site was always going to be trying to die before the end of time, obviously, so he could get his round bonus back up. But yeah, 12 to 10 and OG from strength to strength.
Yeah, and the thing is, I just haven't even seen like an inkling that FPX are going to get a T round. There's been very few scenarios throughout this half where they've looked on the same page, where they've had like a big advantage, where they've looked like they were going to get things rolling. They just, again, they seem a little bit lost. And now in this round, they have very little to work with once more. Tech 9, a Deagle, a Mac 10, 1 AK on Maiden. Like, this is just a crapshoot by.
Well, the tries he made through the smoke hasn't actually landed a single bullet, but Molotov behind, he gets extinguished, but awkward in terms of utility. Now the flashes do also connect with some bullets, and Sonny just walks out with a Mac 10. Maybe the ruthless aggression is what they were looking for after all. B-side has looked a little bit vulnerable at times, and Stiko successfully with the bomb plant will have to fend off against Alexi, who tries to pivot round for a second one, and in comes Nico. He's been dealt a fatal blow, and out of nowhere, after looking toothless, clawless, FPX have just landed the KO shot from just a wild swing.
Yeah, I mean, it really was a haymaker, right? Blindly kind of pushing through smoke and incendiary. Obviously, Sonny only had a Mac 10, so it's understandable he wants to get aggressive. He wants to try to close distance or try to get the maximum usage of it. But who could have foreseen him just getting 2 entries that clean? It makes you really wonder if that's something that can really be replicated. But they might not have to, right? They're obviously able to win this round clean. They're able to start picking up some weapons. They're going to have, you know, 4 rifles coming to the next round now, I think, at least. If not all 5. Yeah, they should have all 5 with buys. And so that's the big round they needed, I feel like, just to get something going. It wasn't pretty by any means. It doesn't inspire much confidence, but it is enough to hold OG off for now and give them a chance to keep on fighting at the very least. This is the round I feel like FPX need to go ahead and lock up, though, if they want to go ahead and get this thing done. They're going to go for the quad boost.
And
they got off that so early, and then they gave up so much map to do it. I mean, that's always the fear of doing that quad boost, but they did get the opening anyhow.
Yeah, the opening pick, and Zen gets a second one.
Wow. What is going on?
This is the round they needed to tie up, and well, so far they've been locking it down. A third kill, Sonny in connector. And Mantu and Issa have to try and somehow just get a frag, let alone the round, just get a kill on the board.
Yeah, the way that FPX are winning these last couple of rounds, though, are so wild. Like, they're hard to get a read on, like, how it's actually happening. It just feels like they're somehow just catching crazy kills. Countering OG's aggression on some of these forward angles. Almost like OG's kind of gift-wrapping these rounds to him, if I'm being honest with you. And obviously the first one where Sony pushed through Monster with the Mac 10 and got 2 kills, that's just kind of one of those wild things you can't account for. But that round just seemed like OG were just giving it away a little bit. I can understand wanting to change the pace and wanting to give FPX different looks that they can't adjust to, but that has been royally inefficient. And now FPX are going to get to 14, and money is quite low on OG. They will hopefully save these 2 weapons, but that's not even a guarantee. And what they'll be able to buy around it, not great. I mean, their loss bonus hasn't really built up. I mean, again, they had won the first rounds at the half, the first 7 in a row. So they haven't really built up much of a loss bonus to fall back on. And so this might be how FPX winds up breaking through for a third map, honestly, is the money might just catch up with OG now.
The really surprising element of that round loss as well is as we kind of touched on, with them trying to go for that quad stack and then deciding against it, they gave up connector, they gave up short control, and they still picked up like the first 3 kills of the round.
Yeah, wild. Again, it's like one of those things that you just can't fathom would happen. But hey, no one said it had to be pretty. They just got to get the rounds in one way or another, and they're starting to find them.
Last 2 rounds have gone the way of FPX. Goes to show how one-sided the first half was. Issa trying to hold on to his M4 double spray. I don't think he can get up to pick up the AK, which is at least a saving grace for FPX, but they have now secured themselves a 14th. They're 2 away from taking us to Inferno.
Yeah, we're seeing OG kind of break open the piggy bank and take whatever spare change is left there to get what buy they do have, but it means Alexa B is going to be just on a FAMAS, and it does mean their utility is somewhat limited. But all in all, not too shabby. Quad boost again being attempted. This time it is successful in getting set up. No one giving him a look, though.
Player to the right-hand side will be Mantu with his AWP. So the AWPs may very well do battle, but that smoke pretty much denies that possibility. Nico, behind the tree,
This
may be
is
called upon.
Yeah, this is a scary spot to be. He's got no support.
If he can get 1 or 2 kills, it's going to be huge for his team. They don't even check the tree. They don't even check the angle. He can't double up, but he saw multiple players pushing long, and that is valuable information.
Sure, but I feel like he needed 2 there to make it worth it. But like you said, at least valuable information to call for a rotation. But for all he knows that they could just fall back, so they can't rotate fully. It's still 2 to a site right now, but we see OG getting aggressive on short B, which could buy them a way to quickly backstab through connector or maybe float a player over now that they got position at short B. It's still really tough to see where this is going, but FPX are certainly not looking to let up on this A side. They're still committing towards more forward progression, and they're getting it.
30 seconds on the horizon, bearing down on FPX. Can they hit 3 in a row? They just hit that golden straight when it counts, and Alexi's gone down. Valda keeps himself alive, but Stiko, with his 2nd consecutive frag on a huge entry tear, opens up the site for business, and OG may be slipping out of this. After a phenomenal start to their CT side, they need Issa and Mantu to clutch this one out. Now, it looks like they're going to be going for it. They're going to be at least attempting, dipping their toe in the water and see what happens. If they can get this first pick and bring it down to a 2-on-2, this is back on. But they're going to have to get some success soon, otherwise they will pull the plug, and I think they've already reached that point. They agree that this round will not be going their way. Keep the AK, or pardon me, the M4 and the AWP, and try and come back into the next round. But it just seems to me that they've run out of gas a little bit.
Yeah, again, I just don't like the positioning here where you're leaving Nico stranded with no support. And that's happened a couple of times this half. This is the first time he's really been punished for it. You know, normally if you're going to be playing an angle like that, you have some type of bait and switch setup where maybe an op is going to be playing from the flower pots or something along those lines, and you're paying attention to that, and then Nico comes out and strikes, and you're able to kind of trade out that way. But by putting him alone, for it to be worth it, he has to come up with 2 kills. You have to get a man advantage out of that. If you go even, yeah, maybe you get the early information, but with that much time left on the clock, there's nothing saying that FPX has to commit. They could still fall back and force you to scramble. And so that just did not pan out at all for OG. FPX now 5 map points to force Inferno to be played. And with the money the way that it is for OG, it seems pretty likely Inferno is going to be called upon here.
Yeah, Inferno is certainly beckoning right now. OG, Deagle's MP9, looking to try and take aggression down connector. Understandable decision-making, but they get in each other's way, and Madden punishes them. It's a 2-for-1, and that's nowhere near good enough for OG.
No, certainly not. It's looking quite dire indeed for them. Again, at least they won the first match, so they're guaranteed the third. But Mantu, he's trying to see if he can't keep them alive here on Overpass. A great pick at long. Gets it back into a 3-on-3, looking to try to maybe take a bit of a forward angle as well towards middle. He's also got Valda rotated up close on long A, who's trying to pick up a rifle, but may put him in a tough spot, or he may get caught with his pants down a bit, trying to throw some utility. Valda threatening him now with the AK, and he does find his man.
Does he overextend though? Because Stiko's there, he does! But it proves to be Stiko's unraveling, his undoing. And Farlig, 1 kill shy of the 30, is looking to try and put that downrange. But of course, he doesn't care about the amount of kills. He just wants to put this map in bed right now. Looks to push through the smoke. There's his 30 bomb. Still 2 players left to deal with and only 5 HP at his disposal. With the bomb under control, he's trying desperately to get up on the flower bed. There we go. He finally got it done, but he wasted enough time that Issa is actually flanking around the back of him. And there is enough money to easily afford another rebuy come the end of this. Issa's already pushed up through Banana, so I don't think they're going to find Farlig. They'll be relatively content with just saving their 2 last weapons as well, OG. It does mean, though, that we go at least 1 more round, Dust.
Indeed, it does. OG not quite bowing out just yet here on Overpass. And based on how the half has played out on average, I wouldn't be shocked to see OG force in overtime. Again, the wins that FPX were getting did seem to be in like weird ways that did not seem at all capable of being replicated. I didn't really ever see them get like that confident victory that really, you know, inspires you to believe they're going to close. But again, at this point, they could, you know, trip and fall over a victory, and that's all they need now that they're at 15. So we'll have to just kind of keep our eyes peeled. And well, FAR League finding Mantu that early is certainly a bad sign for OG.
Kill comes back from Alexi. Well, we said the same thing. In the last round, it was looking grim. It wasn't a 2v4 situation, though. Alexi, with his back to the wall, has been splattered by Madden. And the final curtain potentially coming down on Overpass. OG's choice is slipping through their fingers. And Nico has to try and somehow grab a hold of it again. 1v4 with a FAMAS. I mean, no disrespect to Nico here at all, but this is nigh on impossible. This would have to be a big error from FPX in their current positions if they let this one slip away, and FAR League fittingly puts the last nail in the coffin. We're heading to Inferno, 16-11.